What is going on, Nuggets Nation NBA fans? My name is Tom Leuthner. Welcome back to Nuggets Today, presented by Fan Arts. Before I get into any topics, I want to get you guys more involved. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. And I also want you guys to give me some topics to talk about. Please leave things in the comments that I could get you guys more involved and discuss with you guys. So please go ahead and drop whatever suggestions. If you guys want to debate something, start, a whole debate topic. I'm so down to do that. Just please leave something in the comments for me to discuss with you guys. But I want to get into some things before opening day now. We're a day out, and it's exciting. Some games happen at the time of this recording. I'll get to that in a little while. But it's an exciting time of the year. I mean, I'm so excited for Denver, but I also want to get into some things here with Denver before I get my hopes up and everything. But the whole thing that I want to start with right now is the rotation and what I think the rotation will end up being for the first game of the season. And I've got asked, what do you think the rotation is? How do you feel about game one going into it? And that's what I want to get into in the first couple things here. Um, what I think is gonna happen with the rotation is I think that we're gonna see an 8-man rotation that's gonna constantly happen, right? David Adelman said there's going to be a lot of guys who are getting playing time, but I don't think that necessarily means that 10 or 11 guys are going to play right away. And I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm going to be right 100%, but that could mean that we see an 8-man rotation with certain guys the first game, we see an 8-man rotation with certain guys the second game, and so on and so forth. I think that there's a chance where a guy like Tim Hardaway Jr. could get minutes in one game. Then a guy like Julian Strawther can get minutes in one game. A guy like Peyton Watson could get minutes in one game. And a guy like DeRon Holmes will get minutes in one game. But I don't think DeRon Holmes is going to get minutes. It's just an example of what I think can happen and what I think honestly will happen. Like David Adelman has broken down so many times that Jared Dudley, JJ Barea are going to help him in certain situations with defensive schemes, offensive schemes, what to do against this team, what guy to play in this situation. And I think that he has his own, what's the word I want to use for this? His own, thoughts and beliefs, I guess, against certain teams. He was an offensive-minded coach for Mike Malone, so I think he understands what he wants to do offensively. But I think the defensive thing is sort of getting him, and he did say he was very happy and excited to learn more about the defensive side of it when it comes to the schemes and the rotations they're going to run. But I also think that's why there's going to be so many different rotations ran in the beginning of the year, just because he wants to check out lineups that he could use. He's said it multiple times, he's going to play Jokic and Val together to see what they're able to do. And I think that opening day, we might see a little bit of that, not too much, but I think that plays in more during those rotational minutes. I want to say in opening day, we might see Julian. I don't think we see a lot of him unless, either we get blown out or it's a blowout game. I do think that the rotation is going to be the first five, which is obviously Jamal, CB, Jokic, Cam, and AG. I think that we see Val off the bench. I think we see some Bruce, and I think that we see some Tim Hardaway Jr., Payne Watson. So I guess we're going to get a 9-man rotation. I was wrong about the 8. I think it'll be a 9-man. I think that you'll see Tim Hardaway and you'll see Julian Strawther switch here and there. Maybe some days you'll see just a guy get in for a couple minutes, 4 or 5 minutes. But that's my thought process on the first day or the opening day rotation. Now, I want to hop into my expectations. I just told you my expectations when it comes to rotation, but my expectations for the game, I think, are the same thing. Is the same thing I felt after last year. I was so excited for Denver to be so good last year, just because, how could you not be excited for your team to be so good? And I don't want to say that I'm in more of a negative mindset. I just understand that Denver has so much more to figure out, right? And like I said, I was asked what my thoughts and beliefs were for the upcoming game. And I said, I was like, not that I think Denver will lose, but I'm also not going to be shocked if it comes to a situation where they do lose. I just think there's so much to figure. Denver's going to be a very good team. I think that we all know Denver's going to be a very good team, or on paper, they're going to be a very good team. I think their losses and losses that shouldn't happen, such as if they do lose opening game or opening day for them. I think that it's because there's so much to figure out, so much to learn about each other still, right? This is a whole new team. Cam Johnson looked a little in preseason. That's something I'm going to get to next. He looked okay in preseason. It was nothing special. Tim Hardaway Jr. looked okay in preseason. Guys like Julian look good. Guys like Payne Watson look good. Are they going to be able to continue that throughout the year? I'm not sure. I think that, like I said, the coaching staff, David Adelman, JJ Barea, Jared Dudley, guys like that, obviously Billups, those kinds of guys are going to have to work in, and you have to learn a lot more about each other. And I think it's only going to time will tell how good this Denver team could be. Now, am I saying they're going to lose? No, but I'm also going in with the mindset that can happen. It's a possibility and a real possibility that they could still lose game one. But at the same time, I think that Denver is such a high IQ team that there is still a chance that a guy like Cam can work off ball and help out a guy like Jokic get open more. And that's something I'm going to get into in 1 second. But I do think that the team is so high IQ'd, and like I said, P. Watt, CB look so good that they might have breakout games and help Denver, get a W in their first game of the season. Now, like I said, I'm not negative about it, but I am being realistic that there's a lot to figure out. So this Denver team could lose, and those are my expectations. My expectation is that they're going to win, but I'm also not going to be surprised if they lose, and I don't want to overreact if they do lose. I think that last year I was so high on them, they lose, and I overreacted a little bit. I was like, oh, Denver sucks. I don't want, but I was wrong. Obviously you don't want to overreact game one, and that's why I think that my expectations are high, but I won't be surprised if they do lose. And like I was just talking about, Cam Johnson is somebody I want to get into in a little bit. And what I want to see from Cam really is, I think that my minimum for Cam, I think I would love to see 12 points, right? 12, 4, and 2. Those are the minimum standards I have for Cam Johnson. Game one, which is low. But like I said, we saw him struggle in the preseason. He's a guy who's learning how to play with these guys, especially in a game against legitimate players. It's not preseason anymore. It's not a chance for you to it's not a chance for you to learn the team. This is the time to do it now, right? You've learned your how to play with the guys a little bit. You're going against a good defensive team at your position with guys like Jimmy Butler, Kuminga, and Draymond Green. So it's a time for you to step up against the Warriors. It's a big time game. It's a Western Conference game. It's a team that Denver has a history of losing to. So I think that, like I said, 12, 4, and 3 or 12, 4, and 2 are my minimums for him. I would like to see him get into the offensive or the rebounding category a little bit more, just try to make up for the loss of MPJ's 7 rebounds per game. But like I said, my expectations are not so high for him. I'm not expecting him or I'm not asking him to put up 27 and 3. I think those numbers are fair for his opening game with Denver. I also think that Jokic is going to learn to trust him more, but right now he trusts the other 4 guys, the core 4, a lot more than anybody else. So we'll probably see him get the ball more than Cam. But I think that Cam will be working off ball. Maybe we see him play with the second units, a little bit, where he's able to create his own shots and own opportunities. The last thing I want to get into is one of my favorite topics, and I'm just going to continue doing this throughout the entire year if I can. The around the league topic, and that is just taking a look at what happened so far. This topic is this episode is being recorded right before halftime of the Warriors-Lakers game, which the Warriors are actually leading at this time. It's 49-41. Nobody's having the best game ever. I mean, Steph has 14, Jimmy has 15 at this point, and Luka has 16, Austin Reeves has 12. But the one thing I want to talk about is how amazing the OKC versus Houston game was. It was very sloppy. It was a game that I thought was actually bad to watch in the first half. Shea started slow. I think he had like 5 points at half, but I mean, Chet got them going early. I think he started like 7 for 7. Shea actually ended the game at 35 points. Obviously, he went 10 for 14 at the free throw line. He only went 1 for 9 from the 3-point line. That's pretty good, right, for Shea? No, obviously it's not. It's terrible. But I mean, the Rockets, they blew it a little bit, right? Like 125-124 loss for the Rockets in double overtime. Şengün dominated. He had 39, 11, and 7. He shot 5 for 8 from the 3-point line. He also went to the free throw line 11 times. KD struggled, went 0 for 4 from 3. I mean, he finished with 23 and 9. Steve Adams had 4 and 13. The one guy that, not disappointed, but didn't play well at all was Tari Eason. 3 points, 5 rebounds, went 1 for 6 from the field, 1 for 4 from the 3-point line. And then you just look at the team's stats and how everybody did comparing the two. They actually shot the exact same percent from the field, which is 44%. OKC shot 25% from 3, but Houston shot 29% or 28% rather. 87% from the free throw line for Houston, 80% from OKC. So it really came down to the turnovers and the defensive battle for OKC, which they ended up winning. Houston turned the ball over 21 times to OKC's 11. 23 assists for Houston, 29 for OKC, and Houston won the rebound battle. I mean, like, it literally came down to the turnovers, and I mean, like I said, it's the same thing that I think it was going to happen with Denver. Houston's learning a lot about each other. A lot of guys who are new to playing with each other, and are still trying to get, their mind right and work with the new unit. You saw Josh Okogie come in. He played a good amount of minutes. Reed Shepherd got 28 minutes, which is nice to see. I think he's going to be a good offensive threat for them. And they had a short rotation. They stuck with a 4-man rotation. The one thing that's scary about the Thunder is that the Thunder didn't have J-Dub and they didn't have Isaiah Joe, and they were able to call on guys like Aaron Wiggins, Jalen Williams, and AJ Mitchell to come in and just dominate. I mean, AJ Mitchell had 16, 2-2 in 15 minutes, shot 6 for 12 from the field and 3 for 5 from the three-point line. He's legit. So that scares me with the Thunder because they're now deeper than we even thought, because AJ Mitchell barely touched the floor last year and he wasn't a threat, and you still didn't even play a guy like J-Dub who wasn't there. You didn't play a guy like Isaiah Joe who's one of your main guys. Cason Wallace started and he played okay. I mean, he shot 50% from the field, 3 for 8 from 3, 14, 7, and 5. Like, I mean, he had 4 steals on the game. So, like, it's so scary to see how good OKC really is and how deep they really go, and it just makes you sort of underestimate them. I definitely underestimate them a little bit, but I do think that the Rockets, if they figure it out, could still be a better team. They were missing a couple guys also. Obviously, Fred's not playing this year, but they missed Dorian Finney-Smith, who I think was actually a little bit of a factor for them in not winning this game. I think that he could have been a good player for them offensively to make up for those Tari Eason bad minutes. But that is all I got for you guys today, Nuggets Nation. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Like I said, please drop some comments down below that we could talk about, sort of have some debate with you guys, get you guys more involved in the channel. But I will catch you guys tomorrow.